Recording in progress.
All right, admit all.
We're admitting.
We need a makeup person.
It's disturbing. Okay. Best part is that's on the recording in the beginning. Good morning, everybody.
We're looking for a volunteer for makeup, a makeup person. Good morning,
Calm down our
everyone.
glossiness. I don't know. I feel like
Get the rings underneath our eyes
Oh.
covered up.
There's not enough concealer for that.
Sorry. Just thought I'd explain because you might have heard that at the beginning. Good morning, everyone.
I feel like we're the news. Like we should have a green screen behind us. The weather today for Buffalo, like always, is snow or rain. Maybe a high of 30. Woohoo! Get our shorts out. Good morning for Sewing Club in May. May the 4th be with you. Anybody who's a Star Wars person, you know today's May 4th.
I think there's probably only a few out. in that
Nope.
crowd.
I bet you there's a lot.
Yes, tomorrow.
That is definitely Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Margaritas at Aurora Sewing Center would be awesome. We should start that trend.
Mother's Day this weekend.
Mother's Day this
Mother's
weekend.
Day.
Wow, it's one heck of a week.
Yeah.
Woohoo party.
We got May the 4th be with you from Irene. So
We did.
you're not
Thanks,
alone.
Irene.
We're not alone with them.
Me and Irene and Leanne. Woohoo.
I should have worn a Star Wars shirt.
Yeah, see. Oh, we got so much going on. So that I think we should kick off club, right? Because we have a few slides, we got some specials.
We sure do. We got a lot going on.
We do.
So yeah,
Well,
let's get the party started.
because we want to hear Sheila, because she has a lot of work behind me too going on.
Yeah, some beautiful.
I'm afraid I'm gonna cut myself, so I'm just gonna.
All right,
It's closed, right?
Yeah, but.
Okay.
that's okay. You're good.
Well, here, this is the most important one right here, special. Happy
So-
Mother's Day.
So for anyone out there that wants to treat themselves, or maybe send in a family member, there you go. Buy 2 yards, half yard cut minimums, get 25% off all your fabric. So
All
if
your
you want to
fabric.
buy 10 yards, it's still 25% off.
Woo.
Great deal.
Now until Saturday when we close at 3 o'clock.
Yep. So. And then Bernina has a knockdown, awesome
Yes, they do.
promotion for the month of May, which of course found out over the weekend. So 25% off if you're trading in a machine on basically all the Bernina machines. Now it's the sewing machines and the Q series and the L Serger series. So 25% off. And then there's some additional phenomenal deals
Yes.
right here with the trade-in of specific models. So the Bernina 830, 820, or 780 or 750. So this is a great scenario where not only can you upgrade your machine to the latest models of Bernina, the 880 plus, the 790 plus, or the 770 plus, but you also get free goodies. So for the 790 plus and the 880 plus, that's the middle picture. You get the luggage set, you get a Bernina embroidery bundle, and you get a coupon, whether you use it or not, 50% off the version 9 software.
Wow.
Which is a really nice bundle. Had a similar package around the holidays,
Mhm.
right? So if you didn't pull the trigger then and you got a tax return or whatever, now's a great time to do that. As well, for those that don't care about the embroidery side and are looking for a deep throat, heavy duty, solid Bernina machine, the 770 plus is perfect. You do get the machine trolley if you were to trade in the 820 and the 750. And look at, if you don't have a trade-in, well, there's some really good deals as well right now. So and there's financing available throughout the month. The foot of the month is the BSR, the Bernina Stitch Regulator. So for free motion quilting, to get started, if you're not an expert already, well, this is the tool for you. It is a laser, a laser light that provides equal stitch length based on the motion or the mobility of your hands in the fabric against that laser light. So many of the newer machines and the bigger machines, the 7 Series, come with that BSR. Even some of the 5 Series machines come with that BSR, the 590, the 570, but some machines don't. And, for example, the new 4 Series does not come with this. This is I think the price is $1,000 or $999. Don't hold me to that number, but it's roughly that. And 25% off, that's some big savings. So,
Which I don't recall the last time they had that
no,
on a
I do
discount.
not. I do not.
I mean, that's a very unusual.
I do not recall the BSR specifically being discounted that much.
Nope.
Yeah. So again, and this is a great tool if you've been thinking about free motion quilting and you don't have this foot and you have a Bernina, well, this is a good way to dive into it and get started and let that foot balance you out, balance your stitches. So, all right, now Baby Lock has this promotion carrying on almost to the end of May. I don't think it goes right to the 31st. I think it ends about the 24th or so of May. And if you were to get a new Baby Lock machine, one of the top of the line machines, whether it's a long arm Regalia or the Venture multi-needle or the Solaris combo sewing embroidery machine or embroidery only machine like the Meridian or the other two up top there, the Ballad Chorus, which are sewing quilting machines. Each of those has some level of getaway or adventure. Most all of them are virtual educational classes. Some are 2 days and some are 5 days. So if you got a Solaris, it's a 5-day training class that's virtual, hosted by Baby Lock educators for 5 solid days. So that is the type of training that we would get as a dealer to go away to St. Louis, to the Baby Lock headquarters, and participate with a variety of educators in their classroom. But you're going to do it in your home with them. The one that is actually, you're going to St. Louis, but
which makes sense.
You need to, and if you were to get the Regalia, they give you the free class, but you have to take care of your travel and accommodations. That is I think it's a 5-day class, but it's in St. Louis. That's the long arm. That's the Regalia, the lower left picture. But the rest are just virtual programs that you're doing in front of your machine at your house and, over the duration that Baby Lock has provided. So, all right, so we have some furniture promotions. The Kookaburra cutting table. This promotion's back. I think it was during the holidays as well. If you buy a Kookaburra, you get the free cutting mat. So you're saving on the Kookaburra and you're saving on the cutting mat. So you're saving $600 total now through the end of the month. So that's a nice deal. We do have, I think, 1 or 2 in stock. So maybe an option for you. But we always can order them. That's typically what we do with the cabinets just because of storage capabilities. All right, and then happy Mother's Day. What a perfect deal. The Aero hydraulic chair, which we are both sitting in here.
I was just going to say, I think we're both sitting on them.
There are 10 different fabrics. Some are solids, some are the prints that you can see here. You save $150. So only $229. This is the, I guess #1 rated share out
Mhm.
there. And I tell you, since we brought it in the store maybe 3-4 years ago,
Mhm.
we're selling them constantly and building them and
Constantly.
trying keeping them flowing because people are buying them off the floor as quick as we make them. They're very comfortable.
Yes, they
And you got the height adjustment. You have storage underneath your seat, whether you want to put your M&Ms
I was
down
just gonna
there
say that.
or your sewing notions. Yep, no one looks. That's your choice.
I think that one black one's new. The second one in. I've never
And
seen that.
and for folks that are out of state, we do ship these. They come in 2 boxes. Shipping cost is pretty low. I don't know it off the top of my head, but certainly an option. And we do have a lot of these in stock.
Oh,
Okay,
Friday morning.
you're looking for another
Yeah.
another opportunity of Alyssa's doing her Facebook,
Facebook Live. Friday morning. at
Friday
9
morning.
a.m.
Yep. So
Oh.
that's Friday. If you've joined us, well, we hope to see you again. If you've never joined us,
We hope to see you.
give it a crack.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
have
an
a coffee-
auction.
Have a coffee with us. And
I'm told we're very entertaining.
well,
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
guess
I
we
don't
think
find
we
your
are.
jokes funny.
I don't
find mine
your
funny.
jokes funny.
But if you're, we'll have some new fabrics on.
Mhm.
$9 a yard, 1 yard minimum cuts.
Yep.
We put a bolt out there and say,
Tell us how many yards you want.
yep, give us the name, give us the number of yards you want. We have pre-cut fabrics.
Mhm.
We have pre-cuts.
We have some thread.
We have thread. We have other notions.
Yeah.
So anyhow, all you
There's
have to
always
do
a
is
savings.
log into our Facebook page at 9 a.m. You'll see a live video, or find the videos. You'll find us live and play along.
Yep.
And then at when we're all done, you call the store. We'll be at the Williamsville store. Call the store. We'll say, hey, give us an hour. Then call the store, and then you just call and cash out. We'll have it all rung up, and we can ship it to you,
Yep.
or you stop in and pick it up.
You
cetera,
know,
et cetera.
and I'm just going to say this, right away if you won the item or not. It is a little different than comment sold. So before we log off what you have won, and then we do all the cashing out and ring you up, and then you call in for us to cash you out. So it's not a game if you won or not, by the time we go off air, which is helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Couple weeks out, we have the Genesee Valley Quilt Festival. I know many of you have been there before. Some of you that haven't, just wanted to put this out there. I know earlier in club season, we were mentioning this
Mhm.
show conference because so you could submit your quilts. That has passed. I think the due date was like March 1st or something. But the quilt show itself is May 20th through the 22nd. So that's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the RIT campus right there in Rochester, near the Rochester Airport, within a few miles of there, at the Gordon Field House. So that's like the track and field house. Really easy to get into campus. It's a short walk from the parking lot. And wow, what a great show. A lot of beautiful quilts from all over New York State and Pennsylvania as well,
Yeah.
and other surrounding areas for those that submitted. We will be there
Yes, we will.
with bells and whistles on. We will have a booth. And we look forward to seeing you there. If you do attend, please stop by, say hello. And then we have on June 14th, because today is the last sewing club of the 2020 or 22-21 club season.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Is it?
It's our
Yeah.
last sewing club.
Oh my gosh. I guess I didn't realize that. I felt like we had another one in June.
So our grand finale is our club banquet, which is Tuesday, June 14th in the evening at Clocks Grove in West Seneca, New York, which is kind of in between both stores.
Mhm.
If you are interested in attending, there are registration forms at both stores, and they'll be emailed out again as part of the sewing club email with the recording link. The Registration form allows for up to 10 people to be seated at a given table. So you can grab your friends and submit. And the submission you'll see on the form goes to Ruth Nowicki. She's been so kind to help us manage this. And per person, it's $32.95. You have a lovely chicken dinner with family style. So it's very nice. We've always looked forward to that.
Yes.
And we will have the world's largest Aurora Sewing Center sew and share room populated for those that do bring in their projects,
Mhm.
one project per club. If you bring it into either store, we need it fully labeled. We're asking you to start that process May 16th. For those that don't want to bring in their project, or maybe
Aren't able to.
maybe are out of state or out of the area and not attending, we would ask that you submit a project digitally per the instructions there to Leanne, starting May 16th. And for those that have never attended, there's a beautiful picture of some wonderful customers enjoying themselves at a previous club banquet. A lot of giveaways. We did get word that we'll have some of our vendors there.
Mhm.
I know for sure
Yes.
Bernina, our regional manager,
Mhm.
and possibly the vice president will be attending.
Yes.
And we believe our Baby Lock regional manager
Yeah.
will be there.
One of our
And
reps.
Benertex,
Yeah,
one of our
Benertex,
fabric
yeah.
reps will be there. So we're really looking forward to that. There are a variety of goodies. We do a raffle, Chinese raffle. So there'll
Raise.
be, we're raising funds for
Roswell.
Roswell, the Cancer Research
Mhm.
Institute here in the Buffalo area, that I know many of you have either used yourself, visited out of necessity, or out of love for another person that you know or love, etc. So, that's been near and dear to our heart for
Yep.
many years, starting back with Terry Finley, I
Yep.
believe,
Yes.
which was the original owner of Aurora Sewing Center,
Who battled breast
which
cancer.
battled breast cancer and had passed
Mhm.
in the late 90s.
Yes.
So, anyhow, that's the origin of the banquet. We'd love for you to join us.
And bring a friend. You can bring a friend.
Yes,
It
this
does
is-
not have to be a club member.
Yes.
We've had that question a lot. Do I have to be a club member? No, this is where we kick it off,
Yes,
but anybody is welcome as long as you fill out the registration form.
yes. So, if you're thinking about it, please get your registrations in, because we need to have the
cutoff
head
day.
count locked down by beginning of June.
Yep, June 1st.
Thank you.
All right, sew and share. We've
All
had some
right.
sewers this month. I'm very proud of everybody. Ann Flanders, several years ago, started out to be a tote. The bind was partly on, so I thought it would make a nicer table topper. You know what, Ann? I like that you went one direction and went to the other, because that would be how I am. So I love it. Good job. You could play checkers on that, can't you? I wonder if it's the right, I don't know, the board. Audrey Nadell, she is in Eileen's Block of the Month Variety Club, and this is so far what her quilt is finishing up as. They have learned to make each one of those blocks in Eileen's class. So each
Wow.
block is a block that Eileen has created. They get 3 a month, basically. So this is beautiful. And I'm sorry that I have to tell everybody, I got to see this in person. It is gorgeous. Audrey, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work.
It's a very challenging block.
Yes, and
So-
she fussy cutted, and you can't even see it in these pictures. She has fussy cutted certain pieces to fit in these little areas perfect. The little birdhouse actually has a little bird in the hole that you can't even see in the quilt on these pictures.
How cool.
It is, it's beautiful. Bonnie Fedchuk, she did, and this is, Sheila, is this your first club that you did?
This was, yeah.
Yeah,
way
so-
a long time ago.
A long time ago. So this
October, huh?
October. So this is from Sheila's first club in October, the Unicorn, or
Lisa.
Lisa the Unicorn. That
Oh.
was by
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Hartman.
Hartman. So great job. Look at those blocks. Now I want to see. I do see the grunge, Sheila. The girls picked the main colors and the eyes color. Oh my gosh,
Isn't it?
that
fun?
is fun. Love it.
How cool. Very nice.
Darlene Arrington, she Frost Table Runner by GE Designs, and then she took Diane's class, the USB holder, and it's hard to see on the right-hand side, but it actually folds up like she has the picture, and it holds a bunch of USB sticks in there, which we all know we need to make one of those because I know what my drawer looks like. Eileen Lemley, she made a gnome. Elaine. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Elaine Lemley. She made a gnome out of scrap fabrics and took fur for the bird. And it fits over a cone.
That is cool.
That is cool. Like a styrofoam cone. I'm like trying to picture it.
That is neat.
I want
Great
to know
job,
what
Lane.
that little shovel's made out of because that's cute. It's perfect size. He is adorable. He's hugging it. Jan Edwards, placemats for her sister when we get together at the end of the month. I know she visits her family, her sisters, and they get together and they trade things. These are great. And the barn theme for my sister in Colorado. Oh, they're Anita. Oh, I wish I could see these in person, bigger. The Anita Good Designs. Those barns are beautiful. The little I can see. Wow. The detail on that. Jill Fink. She's been sewing up a storm. She made, this is the grab and go tote at the top. She made that in one of Diane's classes, which is a huge bag.
Yeah.
Then she did 2 mini quilts from Eileen's paper piecing class, which those are kind of hard to see. The kaleidoscope, and it's hard to see because the picture is dark. And then she used a T-tail pattern to make a matching table runner with the little strawberries. Great job.
Very nice.
Wow.
She worked the buffalo fabric into the
She
black
did.
and white.
I
grab and
see
go.
that.
Nice.
And did you
That's
know
great.
those fabrics are from the Facebook Live sale?
Yeah,
They are from the Facebook Live sale.
I reckon.
Yep, I know those too. Joy Buckham, she made, these are all the first 5 months of the Gifts Galore class. So they have, I think, 1 or 2 more with this fabric, and then the next 6 are something different. But it was a sewing theme. So they made a machine cover, little garbage bag holder, jars that hold your notions, and then a machine table topper. And then this month is also an ironing board. So these ladies have made great projects, beautiful work. And this is part of Diane's class. That's the Gifts Galore, which is every month for a year. Great job. Joyce Moran, she did the Bat and the Rug class with Diane. I don't know if this has been recent. I think it's older. So I know we have this rug in our bathroom at the store. All right. The width is just enough to keep the dog bowls out of the walkway. I understand, because for some reason you always walk in the door where the dog bowls are and you step in the water. I don't know why they have trouble. So I love it. And it absorbs the water, which is a great idea. Great idea. Great job. I love your color choices. Nice. Margaret's meeting made by Annie a Place for Everything 2.0 bag. And she used her Tula Pink cursor and cursor fabric. Great job. Cool. Margaret, I'd like to see this bag in person, please.
Speaking of pussyfooting.
I know. Did you see that? Pam
wow,
Pope, my go-to baby girl gift for the only most special friends and recipients. Hard to force myself to sit down long enough to finish these. This is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I know that's smocking, right? And I don't want to, I remember,
very nice, Pam.
Schaub, what was her first name, who used to work here? Her picture's in the back. She used to teach these classes when we were younger.
Oh,
I know. I know.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
about
you
it.
didn't know. I remember. Beautiful. Pat Overhoff, memory pillows made from my friend's dad's sweaters. Those are
cool.
Great idea and beautiful.
Oh, nice.
That was really nice of you. Sue Lear, there are so many pictures of she's been sewing up a storm. Quilt made for my granddaughter in Nebraska. Table runner hot pad for my granddaughter in Albany. Mondo bag made for my granddaughter in Albany. Granddaughter in Albany was born July 4th. So her uncle who served the United States Army in both Desert Storm, Afghanistan, called her Freedom from birth.
Oh,
Wow, she made, that is awesome. She thought her middle name was Freedom when she was little. Aw. Wow. So I see the Mondo bag. Is that a table runner? Okay, it's, the pictures are just distant from here. Great job, Sue. I know you've been sewing up a storm. Sue Schwartz, tiny tulip garden, paper piecing. I think this is Eileen's
yeah, I
class,
think so.
right?
Yeah.
It was much harder to piece than the Hearts project.
Very nice.
Great job. And then here is the Hearts,
Oh, okay.
which is also paper piecing. So you're just learning and you're doing a great job. And it is, in my head, it's the paper and the fabric, the way it goes is backwards in my head when I first see it. So great job. I give you guys all credit that can do paper piecing. Then Suzanne Shank made another rain jacket for my grandson using both serger and sewing machine.
Wow.
Remade last year's Easter dress in a large size for my granddaughter. Aw. It's okay if the picture is not large. When we are on our phones or on our iPads, we can zoom and see it bigger, but great job. I don't know.
Cool.
I want to know how to make a raincoat. I need one today.
Mhm.
Tina Belser,
Sure.
she made the, Sheila, you made this quilt. What's
I
it
did.
called? Scrappy Heart?
I think it was Scrappy Heart.
So she finished it after Valentine's, but you know what? You're right. You're all ready for next year. So that's all that matters.
She used the cotton shot.
Cotton shot and
Pearl.
for the
Pearl.
background and batik in shades of pink. Wow.
Cool.
I
Neat.
like that cotton shot pearl.
Yeah,
It's
has a little glimmer. to
glimmer
it.
to it. Yeah. And there's a bag next to
Oh,
you.
we got
Scott.
extras.
We have
Okay,
someone brought in.
let's see.
Now, I think it's Kathy. No, don't, it's not from Kay
Tina?
England.
Oh, Kate England did not drop that
She
off.
signed the bag. Kathy Cook.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Got a couple.
yeah. Okay. So this is embroidery.
Paper piecing.
This is really cool. I want to know more about this.
Kathy Cook, paper piecing. Oh, I
There.
didn't realize
Wow.
there's a
Embroidery, paper piecing.
back
Oh, it's the front.
and the front.
Then there's a big quilt. in
But this
here.
is like, this is a felt.
Yeah, this is a felt, and then
Mhm.
this is actually suede on the embroidery.
Wow,
Yeah.
how neat.
I
A
want to know
little-
more about this.
Yeah, this is cool.
No, it's actually like a wool.
Oh, I was gonna say felt.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's about
Yeah,
an 1/8 inch thick.
yeah, I don't know. It feels
So very nice, Kathy.
great. We're admiring your work. So
And thank you for leaving
I know.
notes.
I was
so
just
we-
gonna say that always helps us. You
We know
guys-
what's going on.
Well, do we? We never know
Well,
what's going on
As
anymore.
best possible.
I see tulip fabric. Oh, I gotta move my chair. This is larger than.
Nope, there's the.
Oh, you
tag
got a
here.
note?
Now,
Okay.
let's first look at the label.
2003 G&G. Okay, so it's for somebody.
Yeah.
Let's read the
G and
note.
G.
Tulip Pink Nebula lap quilt for granddaughter.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? You're the first Nebula quilt that we get to see.
Wow.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice, Kathy. This is beautiful.
We're just doing a lot of wool.
No,
Oh. Uh-oh.
hold on. We know. There we go.
There we
That
go.
was weird. You shocked yourself again. This, I can't. Yeah, this is gorgeous in person. And you guys, I'm sorry you're not here at club in person to see this, but wow.
This is beautiful.
Kathy,
I don't-
I don't
She
know
even
when
free
you have to-
motioned.
I don't know.
Yeah.
When you have to give this to your granddaughter, but this may want to go to the banquet, maybe?
There,
Yeah.
the lighting's a little better. You can see the
There-
free
Look,
motion.
it's free motion. I mean, it is. Ooh, I'm hitting my
Well.
microphone. It's gorgeous.
Because everybody should see this in person.
Everybody should see this in person. If you are coming to the banquet and you want to submit something, please, if you don't have to give this up right away, I would submit this. This is gorgeous. It's
Very
so
nice.
bright and cheerful.
All right.
Okay, I don't know.
I didn't realize it was like a
Me either.
hexagon.
Yeah, it's not even a,
Is that?
I
Yeah.
think it is. I mean, it's like a, I don't know, hexagon.
Square,
It's
yeah.
not square. That's what we're just gonna tell you that. So
Okay.
you got, I guess it is a hexagon. Yeah, that would be right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Wow.
Well, that would kind of flow with Jaybird.
Yeah,
right?
because
Oh,
Jaybird's ruler is kind of
the hex,
Wow.
hexy. or whatever.
hexy or not square. Yep, it's Wednesday morning and it's raining. What?
We ran into her in that
When you were-
barbecue place.
When you
Oh,
were
that's right.
playing
When
with
we
her
were,
son?
yeah, when you were like creeping up, when you're like, I know your boy. And we're like looking at you going, "Ah, okay, we don't know her now."
We're in St. Louis,
in
Missouri.
St.
and
Louis,
you know this little
Missouri,
baby.
And Sheila's going, I know that little boy. Well, I see him all the time. And we all looked at her like, what are you
What?
talking about? You crazy? We didn't know how you
She used
saw.
to post a lot of pictures.
We know, but we didn't know that until after you told us.
And by the way, this is his mother, Julie. Harvey's favorite boy.
That's exactly what you did afterwards. We're like, okay. Your bags are not in the room, so I'm sorry, but we will definitely have your bags. Whoever we pull out, we'll bring them to the store that they belong to.
Do we know where Kathy's goes?
No.
Kathy, could you, if you are on, could you message us and let us know?
I think she left it here, but
We-
let us know
Yeah,
if we need to
we
leave.
assume you left it here. And the winner is of the
Ann
first one, Ann
Flanders.
Flanders. Congratulations, Ann.
The
All
next one is Darlene
Darlene
Arrington.
Arrington.
You are both
All
Williamsville
right,
people,
Darlene.
right? I'm 99.9% sure.
Very good. We will bring Darlene and Ann's to Williamsville unless told otherwise.
Yes.
All right, we'll get that out of the way.
I just moved your sharp rotary cutter, so I didn't cut myself.
All right, so we're gonna get out of the way and let Sheila do her thing with So Kind of Wonderful.
So kind of wonderful.
All right, Sheila,
Here I am.
here she comes.
Here I
She
am.
Let me
needs a-
help you.
Oh,
She
thanks.
needs- She needs a
You're
microphone.
stealing a thread from us.
Sewing
Oh,
store.
let me give you my mic.
Sewing store. I'm in a sewing store.
It's our first
If
rodeo.
I were not covered in thread, something would be wrong. Thank you.
I'm still on until you go on because he does this. I know. No, I just want to make sure that we are really on.
Did network news or-
I want to clip that first so no one hears the.
that you're imitating.
I know.
Right?
You guys all wanted to hear that. You got your hair. Be careful. Okay.
I'll just put that in my pocket. Make sure they can hear you. Usually no one has problems hearing me, so. Good morning. Welcome to Sewing Club, the last sewing club of the season. Holy cow. So we're going to talk about curves today in a good way, But I was going to start the morning off by telling you a story about a quilt that I made for my sister for a bridal shower gift 23 years ago. It was a double wedding ring quilt. I was going to bring the pattern in and I was going to talk about it. But then I remembered that not only did I throw the pattern away, but I might have stomped on it and then shredded it and thrown it away. Because I've never thrown a pattern away, not before that, not after it. Sometimes I will pass a pattern on if I know that I'm never going to make it again. But this one was so pesty that I got rid of it. I remember there being like quarter circle curves that you had to sew the front to the back, right sides together and turn them. And I remember there being like 1.5 million of these little curve things that I had to sew and then turn right side out. And I don't even remember how the quilt went together. I just remember that I never wanted to do it again, ever. So now that I couldn't tell you that story, which I just did, What I was going to do to try to sound intelligent about sewing curves together was I did some research. I went on Google and I typed how to sew curves together on a sewing machine. And I think my browser is still spitting out articles on how to do that successfully. But what I did was I printed one of them for you, and it's called Sewing Smooth Curves. And I'm not going to read it to you because it's 9 pages long, which most of these articles were, with 150 tips on how to successfully sew a curve a flat curve on a sewing machine. So I printed a couple copies if you'd like to know the difficult way to do that. I have some copies for you. If you want to know the easy and successful way to do that, that's why we're here today. And I like to give credit where credit's due. So I'm gonna tell you that clubs are planned at least a year in advance. So I remember being in the store one day over a year ago, and Katie calling me over to the sales desk, where she was online looking at patterns and things. Now, understand backstory. The staff here is constantly on the lookout for new patterns and techniques and things to do to bring to you novel new ways to do something or show something. And what she was doing was, it was one of those kind of searches where she was looking for things. And what she came across and why she called me over was a pattern called Mod Flamingos. And the pattern looks like this. And she called me over because it utilized a ruler, a little ruler, to sew all these curves on the flamingo. And she brought it to my attention because she knows I'm a big fan of pink and I'm a big fan of flamingos, and brought me the pattern and called Alyssa in on the conversation, where then I walked away and the two of them talked about the patterns in the company and decided that that would be a great idea for a club. So about that flamingo quilt, I just wanted to show you because I need you to hold me accountable. Oh, it's on there. I got it. So here is the fabrics for, you thought I was going to hold up that quilt, didn't you? Here are the fabrics for that flamingo quilt. Not done yet. And if you hold me to see if I say that on screen, then I will end up having to do it. So this is the flamingo quilt, not yet done.
Looks just like a flamingo.
Well, I mean, because look, I picked out, it was that turquoisey grunge for the background, and I went through all of my pinks. I don't have all of them out here, but I just wanted you to know that this will ultimately get done, because now I'm called myself out on it. So Kind of Wonderful has these rulers. I worked with 3 of them, was going to work with 4 of them, but the 4th one didn't come in time for me to get a sample made. But what I'm going to try to do is make this less confusing for you, because what I did was I picked out the patterns that I liked and then picked out the ruler that you needed to make that pattern. So they're all color coordinated. Each ruler has a colored medallion on it that looks like this. So each of the rulers, I'm backwards again, each of the rulers has a colored badge or medallion on it that would coordinate with the pattern or the ruler you need to make said pattern. So what I did was I picked out my patterns first, knew that this pattern took that magenta colored ruler. So that's how they coordinate the pattern with the ruler. So there are 4 of them that we're talking about today. There is a peach, and Leanne was so kind to do this for me. So each ruler has, so the lime green patterns call for the quick curve ruler, which would have a green dot on it. The really nice thing about the patterns or the rulers is this: each ruler, and they're small, each ruler comes with a pattern for a table runner. So this would be, oh, we heard that sneeze way back here. So this is the quick curve ruler. So it would have, I think we called this lime green. So this would be the ruler. Sorry, hard to see. That would be the ruler. And that would be lime green. Right, right,
Yeah.
right. The Wonder Curve ruler would have peach. Good grief, I'm all over the place. Unimportant to show you the ruler, but this would be peach. So there's a peach, there's a lime green. I showed you the straight ruler, which was the magenta. And then the fourth one was the turquoise, which is
Hold on.
behind me. Alyssa's gonna get it. So each one of those each one of those rulers comes with a pattern for a table runner. So that would be the turquoise. That's the quick curve mini ruler. And I'm going to show you the table runners because I suggest you pick up the ruler, you play with that table runner pattern, which is going to give you, and I'm going to cut some out today and sew them together. While I'm talking about that, if you've ever made garments and the garment has a set-in sleeve, you know what that's like to match the notch at the top of the sleeve, and there's typically a seam at the bottom of this, and then you have to ease all of that fabric in on the sides of that set-in sleeve. Imagine trying to do that on a flat piece of fabric, because what that is you're sewing a circle to kind of a circle. Try to do that process on a flat if you've ever done that. And if you notice that on a lot of patterns, if you see a circle or a curve, a lot of times it's applique on because it's really difficult to sew curves together, the concave and the convex side of a circle, to try to sew them together. But it's going to be, when you see it, it's going to be real simple. So I said, that's the table runner that comes with the quick curve mini ruler. This is the one that comes with the quick curve ruler. And all of these patterns are with the ruler, and they're really simple, easy. So what I'd suggest, a lot of them call for small parts of, or small pieces of fabric. So grab your seasonal fabric, your Christmas fabric, or your autumn fabric, or your floral fabrics for spring and summer. So that was the quick curve ruler. That's the one that we call lime green. This is the table runner that comes with the Wonder Curve, and it's a butterflies.
That's cute.
And then you coordinate it with, little butterfly fabric on the borders and the binding, or the binding and the back. So that is the Wonder Curve ruler. And then the quick straight ruler doesn't come with a table runner pattern, but it comes with a table topper pattern. So it's called a spin topper. So that is the one, that's the magenta. That is the quick straight ruler. So what I want to do is, they were kind enough to order me a trunk show that some of the products is behind me for the trunk show. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on one of the rulers how easy it is to cut them out. This is stress-free sewing. Yeah, it's going to be right here, Liam. This is really stress-free sewing, because even when you get those curves sewn together, which is what I'm going to show you, there's a little trimming. So it ends up being, let me get all of my stuff out of the way. So this is the quick curve mini ruler. This is the pattern with the turquoise one behind me. And the pattern calls for, all it is 2 fat quarters for the focus fabric, which are the color, the turquoise and the green behind me. And then a 1/2 yard of backing, 1/4 yard of binding, and a 1/2 yard of background fabric. So what I've done, the fat quarters, they end up getting cut into, so this would be my background fabric, is the white. And I did a gray. And these are, I'm going to call my focus fabrics. So it says stack a few 5-inch squares aligning the adjoining sides. So this is what I'm going to do and show you. So you put them on point, it shows it in the directions, And all of the rulers have these really unique, let me do this. Yeah, it's okay, Leanne. I think they understand. There's a lot of markings on the ruler. There's dash lines, there's straight lines, there's dots on some of them. And the instructions are very, very specific on where to place this. For instance, this one says to, Leon went to go get me a piece of paper so you can see the markings on the ruler. It says, stack a few 5-inch squares aligning adjoining sides under the dashed V. So there is a mark on here, and she's going to get a paper, but while she's doing that, there's a dashed here. You can do this. There are dashed lines here. There's dashed lines, there's solid lines, but they want you to just to put that corner. Thanks, Leanne. So that's the ruler for you. There's a dashed line here, which is the instructions say to align that in the corner. So it's as easy as this. Now, I treated myself to a new rotary cutter for this project. It's the Splash, the Olfa Splash rotary cutter. I am bad at changing blades on my rotary cutter. The Splash rotary cutters, because a little bit of, and I know you're probably understand when I say that. On the regular rotary cutters, there's a little screw on the back of it. And it seemed that once I took that screw out and the rotary cutter sort of fell apart, I was never really clear on how to put it back together again. So what happens with the Splash ones, there's this, and I'm not going to take it apart. There's this little tab here that all you do is pull this down and that releases everything in order. You just replace the blade with where because the blade's going to show on top. You just slide the blade off very carefully, replace it with a new blade, and then slide this back up. There was always that little nut that's in the rotary cutters, like a split nut that I could never figure out if that went on the back or the front or where it went. And so many times I put the rotary cutter together wrong and then tried to, cut with it. So everyone should just treat themselves to a new rotary cutter with this really easy change mechanism on the back. I changed out all the blades. I have a number of rotary cutters, but I changed out the blades and I bought this nice 10-pack because the normal blades come in a 3-pack. This one you're going to have for a really long time. So that I had Alyssa bring these out and put these on sale today too, because once you use your club discount, it makes it really affordable for the entire value pack of the blades and the rotary cutter, the Splash rotary cutter. These come in really fun colors too. I have the turquoise, it comes in a purple one. I know Diane has the purple. There was a pink one I know that they had released for breast cancer awareness. So this is called Splash. But why I went down this little road was when you cut on the So Kind of Wonderful rulers, especially when you're cutting that curve, you want a new blade in your rotary cutter. This is where you don't want to saw. You don't want to saw this. I know we all do it. You get a nick in your blade and you say, I can just, I'm just going to use it for this one project. And you end up sawing because it's so specific, that curve that you're cutting. You don't want to go back and forth and risk the curve not being precise. So I've got 2 5-inch squares down. I also wanted to if you are a fan of your ruler not slipping, this is the little, I think it started out being like skateboard tape that I know they sell. I know it's in Williamsville by the Q20 table, by the rulers. They're just little pieces of sandpapery, kind of one side is sticky so that you can cut tiny little pieces and put on the corners of your ruler to keep them from slipping. So I tend to use my rotary cutter straight up and down on this one. I tried it with the smaller rotary cutter thinking maybe I had come on to something. The 18mm blade is not enough for this ruler. So get in that corner, just go around, make sure to close your blade. And that's how easy it is to cut the curves. I'm going to do it on the background pieces as well. And then I'm going to put it together and show you how easily it goes. So again, on point, line it up with the dashed lines on the ruler. I like my blade straight up and down on this one. See what, I mean, a new blade, it's, well, I don't know why we don't do it more often. Okay. I don't know why I don't do it often. So then the instructions say, very clear, concise instructions tell you to put the pieces together like so. What's that? Like so. Now, I'm going to show you because we're going to stitch a few of them together. This might not be quite as precise as the table runner that's behind me, but you're going to get the idea. So like so. The green and I know it's fun, right? Well, everybody's got, now this pattern, like I said, takes 2 fat quarters for the focus fabric. Everybody's got 2 coordinated fat quarters in your house. You might have more than 2, maybe, but everybody has at least 2. So grab 2 fat quarters, grab some background fabric and make yourself a table runner. So the instructions go on to say this, refer to the diagram. I'm going to show you the diagram. Now, this is where I started to get a little crazy. And you don't have to. See up here where it says start that curve 1/4 of an inch down. Now, so here's my fabric, here's my curve, and you're going to start it like so. So they want you to start 1/4 of an inch down from the top. So I, being how we are, when I got down to the end of it, I didn't have another, 1/4 of an inch down here. And I remember tearing them out because I wanted it to be real precise. As I went along, I found out that you don't have to be that precise because they're all trimmed down at the end, which really takes care of any little oopses that you did. Oh, see, I've been working on a 350 at home. So I'm looking for my, to lower my presser foot. Okay, my machine is set up for a different foot. So we're going to go to the 97D foot, which is my 1/4 inch foot. Keep going, Sheila, keep going. There we go. Okay. Now, you're going to want to sew really slow on this because what I want you to accomplish, or what I'd like you to try to accomplish, is to picture this as a straight. Picture this as straight. I know we're sewing on curves, but what I want you to envision is you're sewing maybe 4 or 5 stitches on a straight. So using both your right hand and your left hand, take those 2 fabrics together. Like this here. Let me get this, Alyssa, and maybe we can do it this way. So you're going to start 1/4 of an inch down. And you're going to turn this bottom fabric and the top fabric so that you get, do you see what I mean? I want you to get a straight line here. It might only be for 4 or 5 stitches, but as you go, you're going to be moving this bottom fabric and the top fabric. It sounds confusing, but when I do it, you're going to see what I mean. So you take a couple stitches, you readjust and get that little 1/4, maybe 1/2 an inch of straight. Moving the top and the bottom. It'll all make sense in a second. Now just picture you're doing that set-in sleeve on that blouse or shirt or jacket that you were doing, and I got away from garment sewing for that reason. I know Suzanne Shank, I know you're a great garment sewer. I know there's a lot of you out there. But see, this is not a fast project because you're going to want to sew. And already I'm going to show you, I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad this turned out like this because now I'm going to show you. So when I was, again, working on that 350, waiting for my foot to come up. Come on. Why is my foot not coming up? Come on. Is this set so that the presser foot? That's what I get for using a classroom machine. So, well, this is what I'm saying. See on this end, there's more than 1/4 of an inch. When I first started doing these, hang on, let me get it in camera. See more than 1/4 of an inch or more like 1/2 inch. When I did this the first couple times, I would tear that out because, oh my goodness, it's not even on the top and the bottom. But I'm going to show you how that gets trimmed off. But I want to show you just for an exam. Now, I did not, because of the small space here, I did not plug my iron in because I didn't want anybody to hit it. But see already how that lays so flat. I always press to the dark if I'm using 2 different fabrics. So look at how that goes together. Now I'm going to do another one and then I'm going to show you how precisely they go together. Any questions while I'm stitching?
We'll let you know.
Thank you. When we, I don't know if that happens to any of you. If you switch between sewing machines, does it take you a minute to figure out what machine you're working on? My 790 has been it's been getting service. So I've been working on my little 350 at home, which you have to reach behind and raise the presser foot. So muscle memory. Again, moving these so that I have that little bit of straight in front of me. A lot has to do because you're working on curves. So a lot has to do with the give of the fabric. I don't want you to pull, excuse me. I don't want you to pull or distort the fabric in any way. Just let them ride underneath the presser foot.
Jill said, could you clip the curve so it lays better?
Well, you know, Jill, in my 9 pages of instruction, that was one of the, that was one of the instructions on when the old days when you were sewing on curves, you clipped. You don't have to with this because you're working on almost a bias edge. So there's no need to clip the curves because when you press this, it lays incredibly flat. Now I might just, if you want to hang with me, I might do a couple more and that way we can put it together. Let's do this one on this one. So that in the pages of instructions on how to sew a curve on a sewing machine, there was, you know, make it a very narrow seam, clip all the way to where you're going to sew. Oh, there were just so many, and I didn't read them all because I tell you, I had a little anxiety remembering that darn double wedding ring quilt, which I would have brought in to show you. It turned out beautifully. And it was all done in shades of purple, which was my sister's color at the time. She has since gifted it to her daughter-in-law who lives out of state. And I'm told that the quilt is still in circulation and it's in their guest bedroom on the bed. And I never wanted to see it again. It was, I'm telling you, it was anxiety. So here's number 3. No need to clip the curves. It just lays really well.
Jan said that she made a bed runner with the ruler and she doesn't like sewing curves, but the ruler made it really
Yeah.
easy.
Now, so some of you may have used these rulers before. I know we had one of them on the wall in Williamsville. I had done a store sample of the So Kind of Wonderful ruler. I think it was a bigger one years ago. So I was familiar somewhat with the rulers, but these small ones like the Quick Curve Mini and the Wonder Curve, I think are like second generation from the So Kind of Wonderful family. Don't have a ruler. Don't watch what I'm doing. This is not prepared. There we go. You didn't see that at all. So there's number 4 of what I've cut. Now they're not pressed, but what I'm going to show you is how to trim them up, because truly no stress here on if these aren't even or you're worried that it's not going to be. So let's move on. The instructions then say squaring up the blocks. Position your Quick Curve Mini
I'm gonna go back to the actual one.
on the AB shape with the B part, so they show the photograph. And if you're a visual person, it might make it easier for you to do it that way. So this is going to be pressed. With the B part at the top right, so this is the B, this is the concave cut, and this would be the convex. Okay. Well, and you know, they never refer to that in the patterns. They refer to it as letters, but I always remember that the concave was the one with the dip in it, like a cave. So this would be, you know, that dip one would be the concave, and the one with the rounded was the convex. And if you go to the eye doctor, they'll talk about that. Okay, so Parpia is at the top right position. Leave 1/8 of an inch from the curved seam to the outer edge. See circles on diagrams. So I go to the quarter, and I go to the quarter, and I take my rotary cutter, and I trim, and I trim. And then you turn it, you take it to the 4-inch block because you're trimming all of them down to 4 inches. Very easy instructions, don't sweat. But see what I mean? Watch. This will make sense. That you don't have to sweat where they end up is because then, here, let's use, we're on this camera. So now with the trimming, we've cut off all of those like dog ear weirdness on there, but I'm going to do a couple more so that you can see how wonderfully they fit together. They tell you to use the 1/4 inch on the curve. And 1/4 inch on the curve on the bottom. Trim.
She said Eileen taught a class for using the big ruler. It was like a big thing.
Oh, on the curve, on the Wonder, So Kind of Wonderful?
I think so.
I don't
That's what
even
they're
remember.
referring to.
Yeah, me neither. So everything is trimmed on this pattern down to the 4-inch squares. So you could, in effect, even do, I mean, once you got your blocks together, you can do whatever you'd like with them. But no, see how nicely, and this is even without being pressed, how nicely flat they lay. So no more clipping up to the curve, no more. I mean, I'm just literally finger pressing these because, you know, they were in here in my space and I didn't want to use the iron. Quarter of an inch, and each one is a little bit different. I know the question came up, are the rulers interchangeable? They are not. Because of the size of the curve, they all end up being different curves, different sizes. But what, like I said, what I did was I found patterns I liked, and then I just matched the ruler to that pattern. There are over, I think, 100 patterns with the So Kind of Wonderful. We've ordered a selection of them. They are not on the website, so I would
going to show them.
ask you to come in and look at them. Alyssa's also going to show them. But this is how quickly and easily they go together. I'm trying to get myself in there we go. All a little bit different. All of the patterns run a little bit different. Not one of them did I have any anxiety about. Yesterday, I'm going to show you something fun. Hang on. Let me just get this done so you see how quick this is, and then trim to a 4-inch. There was, hang on, here we go. You should go right now and change the blades in your rotary cutter because it really does make a difference. So my colors are a little wonky, but here, let's.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
bring it up more. Looks cute.
My colors are a little weird, but I can't stress to you enough how easy that is to sew those curves. But this, if you look, this pattern is the one that's behind me, and we'll pan up in a second, but it would go something like this. My colors aren't coordinated, but so you would. So then you would just continue this kind of looping with these, well, you understand, but what I want to show you is this.
Are we going this big camera?
No, I can bring it over.
Okay.
I only made one block of this pattern, and it's called Happy Together. Sorry. This is called Happy Together. And I knew I'm working with, I got little ones now. So of course, this is the kind of pattern that draws my attention. Sorry for the glare on the plastic, but and I wanted to get it done, but time it just didn't happen for me. But I did get one block done for you, and I want to show you, because all of these people are different, just like in the world. They all have different hairstyles. They all have different clothes. We've got ponytails, and we've got little page boys, and we've got fancy hairdos.
Mohawk.
We got mohawk.
Yep.
We got a big bun up here. But think about how cool this would be if you're a grandma or you've got little ones in your life. You could make this specifically for all those little ones. You could match their hair color. You could let them pick out their clothing. You could use some of their older clothes that their moms can't bear to part with. You could actually make the clothing out of the kids' clothing, or you could make it sports specific. You could make the little skirts and pants out of the Buffalo Bills fabric, but look at this. So I just picked one of the kids. Can I make it further away so I can get the whole girl in there? Hang on.
Switch cameras. just
Okay,
hold it up.
switching cameras, holding it up. And there it is. So look at her. I mean, she's very simple. So you could make skin tones however you want. You could make hair color whatever you want. You could make, I'm telling you, how fun would this be if you put this little girl in her Buffalo Bills outfit You could make the entire Bill's Mafia out of this, and this is one block, and how big it is. So imagine the size of that completed quilt. But this, I just wanted to stitch it out for you just to show you an example of, this went together probably, well, Alyssa, you were in the room yesterday when I was sewing it together, what, half hour maybe?
I'm just gonna say less than an hour. I need
So
to-
you just use that curve, and this was the Wonder Curve ruler. So you just use it here on the hair. You used it on the block with her little pigtails. This was just marking and cutting, but this is called Happy Together. So this is a peach. So that's a Wonder Curve ruler, but you could do backgrounds all different because they did it on the pattern. They did all of the backgrounds in different fabrics. But so this, I think other than when I do the flamingo, this is certainly going to get done because this was a ball to do. It really was a lot of fun to do. So that's Happy Together. You can see in the corner, it's got the peach. So that would coordinate with the peach ruler, which is the Wonder Curve. So that's what I wanted to show you. One other ruler that we did not talk about, which I came upon late in the game, and I only used it on one. It's called the mini curvet. And what the curvet is, I closed it up so easily. It's actually a two-piece, and what it is, it's a quilting ruler. So this isn't a cutting ruler, it's a quilting ruler. I quilted one of my table runners with this because what it does is it replicates the curves that you've cut with your rulers. So this is not a cutting ruler, it's a quilting ruler. It's thick. It's probably 1/4 of an inch thick, not to be used on a long arm, although I used it on my domestic on my 590 with my 72 foot, which is the ruler foot. But there's a lot of markings on both pieces of this ruler. So this you would use for your concave curve, and this you would use on your convex curve. And there's markings on it so that you could space your lines, but so this what you would use with your ruler foot so that it doesn't, I mean, this worked beautifully. I wished I had had this ruler to do the quilting on all of my table runners, but this worked out really well because it did follow the same curve as on that you cut out. So just a little note to yourself, it's called the Wonder Curvet. Comes in 2 pieces. Great way to start practicing with ruler work on a small project, because I know some of the rulers tend to be a little pricey. This one was marked at $29.99. So that's a nice, affordable way to jump in to try to do ruler work. For those of you who that intimidates a little bit. So that's called the Wonder Curvet. So putting that aside, but what I think I would like for us to do now is to show you some of I've showed you my table runners, but what I'd like to do is show you some of the quilts that I did do one other one, but I'd like to show you what.
You want me to go over the specials?
Sure, why don't you do that?
Okay. You give me a sec.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna go over the specials that we have for today. And then I'm gonna go over all the patterns that we have,
Yeah,
which I'll talk
'cause we
through,
have a
which it
pile
gets, we
of
do have a
beautiful
pile.
things.
It was really hard to capture
me out of
them.
here?
No, really hard to capture them all in our PowerPoint / flyer. So I will go over it with you to make it, it sounds easy in my head, but I'm sure I'm not.
Yeah.
But I will try and simplify it for you.
Okay.
So today's specials are buy any So Kind of Wonderful pattern with the companion ruler, and you get 25% off both the items. Now, if you want to buy additional patterns, then you get 20%, or rulers, you get 20% off. So if you buy a ruler and the pattern matchy, you get 25% off. But then if you go, well, I want that pattern too, because I already have the pattern in the ruler, then you can grab another pattern, with that second pattern would be 20% off. So I hope that makes sense. So we will definitely help you at the counter with that, but that is the big special of today's club deal. Then here are some of the patterns. And again, I will go over more, show you more of them once I'm off the PowerPoint here. So here are some of the patterns. You got Mod Owls, Posh Snowball, Country Chic, Posh Santa, Chic Sisters. And then as like Sheila was saying, see in the bottom corner, it has that little emblem over there. It's got the teal and the lime green. So you will know the rulers also have the same matching color. So you know when you grab that pattern, which ruler you need. And on the back of the pattern, they make it really, really simple for you. It also tells you what rulers you will need to go with that pattern. All right, the Bernina 72 foot, we have 30% off for you today, and all through Saturday. The Bernina 72S foot, which is new with the little slit in it, that you have 15% off. And then the Baby Lock ruler foot, you get 20% off. The notions that Sheila has spoken of, you get your club discount, 15% off. So I know Sheila is a big fan of wool batting. So she will talk about that in a minute with her sample. But again, you have your 15% off all the other little notions at both stores. There are tables at the counter with all the club items on there. So we will be able to assist you with the proper discount of the items. All right. Now, as we're going off of there, I want to show you the patterns that we have. So let me try and simplify this for you, but you know what?
We're trying
That just is a
There
joke
should
in
be
our
a-
store sometimes, because simple in my head is hard
Oh.
everywhere else.
Duh.
Okay, so what we have, Posh Snowball, which requires the quick curve ruler and the quick curve ruler mini, as you see the two emblems on the bottom. Also included in that, and I will try and do this, we have the Posh Lucky, which is a sample that you will see shortly. We have Posh Holly, which is Mrs. Claus, and we also have Mr. Claus. So those are some of the quick curve mini ruler, which is this ruler right here. See how it's got the matching color? So we have the quick curve mini. So I'm going to put that in with that color. Then we have, for the quick curve ruler, we have lattice reveal. Rival, sorry, should really pay attention to what I'm reading. Then we have, whoops, Mod Owls. Thank you for making that better. Posh Snowball, which I've shown you, which we have a sample of that. Mod Citrus,
Love that one.
love this. I do too.
Love that.
Chic Sisters. And Chic Country, which is the samples we're going to show you, which is the one that's been behind you. That is the quick curve ruler,
We're calling it lime green.
lime green, which is this one. So the quick curve ruler, see, ooh, green, it were matchy, matchy, matchy.
And that is the
Quick curve ruler.
I know, but it's the rings, so it would be this table runner. Oh, this one.
Okay, now I think I have all the patterns out here. Now we have the Wonder Curve ruler, which is orange. So we have the flower pop, plant life, and I think the little kids are too, which is in your hand.
Which is in my hand.
And then we have the
Happy
Happy Together, which is the Wonder Curve ruler. Oh, what's this one?
This is
Okay.
turquoise.
Turquoise, okay. Then we have the Diamond Days, which is
The quick
the
straight.
quick straight ruler. So this is actually the only one that we got in stock that was straight, because we weren't sure. Sheila was trying to get it We had trouble getting the ruler and then, time got past us.
But that does the
But this does,
spin topper,
Yep.
the pattern that comes
so
with
on the
that is
back,
this-
oops, I'm sorry, machine. So this is the pattern that comes with this ruler on the back. So that is magenta, pink, I don't
Yeah.
know, we'll call it magenta. The other one that I didn't tell you that we have in stock is the Mod Flamingo, which is the mini quick curve ruler, which if you guys were all here, I'd ask you what ruler? So it's a quick curve mini. So those are the patterns that we
Perfect.
have in stock at the store. There might be one hidden.
Well, this is mine.
Well, yeah,
This
Sheila.
is mine. I had Alyssa order me
So
one.
if you want one, we
If
can
you're
order
a
that.
cat person, this is the quick curve mini as well. It's called Posh Kitty.
There are other patterns.
Yeah.
And again, if you find something or if you want to know if we can get it, we can get patterns in for you. It was just really hard for us to carry the whole collection of so kind of wonderful patterns. So we started with these, but if there is something you find, call us, call me, and I will look into it and I'm sure I can get it. It was just really hard to get everything in stock
This is what
or
I'm gonna,
carry all of it.
this is what I'm gonna do before Alyssa starts, before we start showing you the samples. I set it up like this. I'm gonna have, maybe if we can smush it down into one, you can take a screenshot maybe of it, and that way you've got the,
What is what?
yeah, there you go. So if you want to screenshot this or take a picture of it with your phone, if you're not on your phone, this will, I would say this is a good reference for you to have in the event you start looking at the patterns, you've got a quick reference material to go back to know which ruler you need for which pattern. Okay, because yeah, I know I think we keep repeating ourselves, but each of the patterns has this little badge down in the corner that relates to what ruler you need. So,
I just don't want you to come in, grab the pattern, grab the wrong ruler, and then you are
Right.
like, what the heck?
right,
So, and we're here to help you, both stores.
okay.
We're always here to help.
So I know Alyssa talked a little bit about batting, and that was one of the things I really wanted to talk about. In all of my table runners, I like the Dream Blend for runners. It's got nice, doesn't have a lot of loft to it, which I like in a runner. I don't want my runners to be big and puffy. And it quilts beautifully and it washes beautifully. So that I always use Dream Blend. I used to, many years ago, I always used to use fusible fleece on my table runners, but I really like the Dream Blend for runners. And let's start with this one because it's on top. I love wool for quilts. Now, this is called, is it Posh Lucky?
Yep.
Okay.
It is.
This is my sample, and I picked this one out to do because
Every
it
time.
I felt it had circles, representative circles that would be hard to do on a regular quilt or a regular ruler. So these are just, I use just the same shade
No.
of green on all of my. Just give us one
Okay.
second.
It doesn't.
As I'm picking off my pieces of lint. The pattern calls for different whites or background materials of the same, the same sort of family. I tended to put a little bit of a wider border on this because they call this a wall. I think they call it a wall hanging. When you get to Posh Santa, he's the same size. So I put an extra border on it because I wanted it to be more of a lap size quilt. But this is called Posh Lucky. So that was my sample. Now we're getting into trunk show samples.
Thanks.
Do you want to do the wall first?
Yeah, we'll do the wall.
Oh.
Here's
Posh Santa.
which this is what the size of Lucky would be,
Yes.
but Sheila was creative and added more
And
borders.
feel free. I mean, if you like this as well, you can put borders on it and call it a quilt.
Mhm.
I love the color. These are such non-traditional-ish colors that I love them. I
Yep.
love the turquoise and I love the sort of magenta in his hat.
Yep, I
So that
agree.
is Posh Santa. There is a Posh Mrs., I don't know what they call it.
Posh Holly.
Posh Holly would be the companion for Posh Santa. This is
Country Chic.
Country Chic.
So we got a trunk show in, so bear with us. Sheila sewed some, but she couldn't do it all. So I reached out and got a trunk show. So this is Posh or Country Chic or Chic Country or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. I love this. I don't know. These are my colors. So it's so beautiful.
It really is. It's modern, yet it's quilty.
Yeah.
I love these.
This was, and now sorry, we actually have to look.
Yeah, this is
I
The
think it is Posh
Snowball.
Snowball.
Posh
I think
Snowball. This is
you're
enormous.
right. It is. And that's why we couldn't hang it. This is Posh Snowball. It is. Wow. Look at that. Huge.
Now,
Hey, Kate.
the really nice thing about these is you could do I mean, nobody says you have to do this all at once. So you could just complete blocks as you feel. There's some Tula in here?
There's Tula, there's Kafe. Oh yeah, this is like, we're in my,
Yeah,
maybe some
sorry.
Allison glass too.
This is beautiful.
This
So
is-
this is Posh Snowball. And you could make these as crazy as you wanted. Nobody says they have to be quite this dramatic. I mean, you could do this in solids, you could do this in coordinating. This is just beautiful. But all the curves, beautiful. So Posh Snowball. Now, this is really fun because this is Posh Owl.
Mod Owl.
Mod Owl. Sorry, I got into the posh. Yeah,
Posh and Mod.
posh and mod.
Look at if you. We're gonna have these at the store. I'm gonna say East Aurora because that's the
Look
only
at
store
this.
that can.
So this is the most untraditional
Love
owl
it.
quilt I've ever seen. So those of you who have family members who aren't quilty kind of people, I use that all the time because my son told me years and years ago, he's since gotten over that, but he told me that he said, Mom, it's just a little too quilty for me. So whenever I would do something for him, I would tend to go more toward the modern. He has since stopped saying too quilty for me. So we turned him over. But this is Mod Owl. This is super cute. And all of the beaks on the owl, they've used sort of a shimmery.
I'm
And some of
I'm
the
looking at
owls,
these. They
too.
look like they're woven fabrics and not cottons. Some of them look like a
Yeah,
woven.
there's some shimmery fabrics in here
Yeah.
that we can't talk about because they're not ours.
Yeah, I don't have these fabrics. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
everybody, but
So
it's
this is
really
this is Mod
Mod
Owls.
Owl. Look at
Super
he's-
cute.
You know what? This is a great guy quilt, not
Yeah.
to be like. Again, it's
Gender
not quilty.
specific, yeah.
It's not quilty
Not
for
quilty.
it's not flowers. I can hear Scott going, "Yeah, I'll take an owl over a
Yeah,
flower."
But
Right?
super cool with all
Yeah.
the curved edges. I mean, look how cool
Awesome.
that is. So not something easily accomplished without a specialty ruler.
Right.
And while we're talking about specialty rulers, I know in your head, you're saying, I don't need another ruler. These are not expensive rulers in the whole scheme of things. I know when I bought my stripology rulers, it was an investment, but these are not, they all run in the $28, $29, $30 range. They're not super expensive. So, and it's not one of those rulers where you buy it once and you say, I'm never going to use this ruler again, which is why there's so many different patterns for, the different rulers so that you can remember, you weren't, I don't know if you were here for Serger Club last week. But when I said that I can pretty much justify any kind of purchase, but that's the kind of thing that I can talk myself into things when I say, if I buy this ruler, there's 50 different patterns that I can do with this ruler. So it's an investment in my future, of course. It's not something that I'm going to use once, and because I've got those rulers, folks, that you use for one project and then they get hung on the hook and never to be used again. I think these are the kind of rulers that will be used again and again because they're just that fun. And while we're talking about Posh Santa and Posh Holly, there are a lot of Poshes.
There's an Easter bunny. Hold on, I'm not on.
Oh, man, he's loud. God bless you.
There's an Easter bunny. There's a witch, Santa, Mrs. Claus. There was something else.
There's a number of Posh holiday ones. There are a couple of pumpkins. There's a jack-o'-lantern, and
Yeah.
then there's a mod pumpkin, I think. But just, yeah, feel free to take a look around. We've got a lot of the patterns in the store. Come
Just
in,
not
take a
all
look.
100.
Yeah, not all 100. But if you feel real inclined, like you would like to get the 50 patterns so that you can justify the purchase of the ruler, feel free to get the names. You know, we can order them if you see something that you absolutely need to have. We tried to get a sort of a cross section of modern and traditional and holiday-ish. But know that the people will get completed. I will end up doing the people because it's just that cute. It kind of reminds us of the Fisher-Price people a little bit. They have that sort of, blocky sort of, that. And the flamingo will definitely get finished because I have the fabric and my kitty, my Posh kitty. Although I don't have an orange cat currently, so my cat I might make him tigers. Irene, I don't know what color you'll make your cats, but I'm going to make him, I'm not sure. He might be black and white because I have a tuxedo cat right now. So Posh Kitty will also get done. Have I confused everyone, and do I need to talk about anything to make it make more sense? Just look at her one more time.
Helen wanted to know if all the Posh patterns, do they use the same ruler?
I don't.
I
don't really want to say 100%
I'm
yes, but I'm pretty
pretty-
sure
pretty sure that is a yes.
it would be on the bottom of the pattern, and I can do some
I'm
homework.
trying to find,
What are you looking?
did
for?
we leave shamrocks upstairs or did we?
No,
bring
I
it
brought
down?
everything down here.
Quick curve.
So far, Posh. Well, you got Posh, but then Posh Snowball, you need both. So, like
But
all
Lucky-
the other Poshes,
Lucky
yes.
and Posh all are turquoise, so it's the quick curve mini. So
Yeah.
I would say the seasonal Poshes, yes, the quick curve mini, the turquoise. Good question, though. I wouldn't call Posh Snowball the same, because I think we're talking about the sort of holiday-ish Poshes. They end up at 28 by, like my Shamrock ended up at 28 by 42. I just put, I think, like a 5-inch border on to make it like a lap size quilt. So you've got that kind of flexibility. And all of these, when you make a block, you don't have to make them the same size. I mean, once you complete a block on this one, you can make it as big or as small. You certainly could even make this into a table runner just by doing one row of the blocks. Any other questions?
Melissa says she already has the mini, but she didn't know there were two larger rulers.
Yes. Yeah. All of them a little bit different, different degree of the curve, for very specific. And I know that there are a couple of them that use, like Posh Snowball uses 2 because it's so complex. Most of them only use 1 ruler. Like the people, I keep going back to the happy, all of these people use the same ruler. So all of their heads are going to be the same size, just different hairstyles. And if there's one in there that you like, you can duplicate. I mean, I could do an entire quilt in her cute little pigtails with her bangs or fringe.
Before we got on, Sheila was like, I put her together thinking she'd be a pot holder.
Yes, because I said I wanted to do, there were a couple of patterns that I loved so much that I was just going to do a block of a couple different patterns. This being one of them. And I did. I said, if I don't get to it, I can make a pot holder out of it. Never by looking at the pattern did I think this was going to end up being quite so large. So you could certainly do, it's a big pot holder. You could do this in, you could make an extra one or make an extra couple and certainly make this even into a pillow. But once the kids in my life see this, they're all going to say, well, can you do one that looks like me? So yes, the answer is yes. Will some of them wear Bill's apparel? They surely will. They sure will. So anything else? I think I have talked about everything on my table. I have touched at some point except my iron, but I think that you see how nicely these lay, that you don't need me to iron them, but I just really wanted to show you that they go together very easily. They're really stress-free. So don't sweat it if when you start making those squares and they're a little, they're not even. We're going to leave that up here. We're going to leave this up here for you guys to take your screenshot of.
I like the fact that the rulers have a runner or another project so you can practice before you do your special
And I
quilt or
think
your special
I
project.
think that I don't know if I saw it on their website. It's two women that are so kind of wonderful. And I don't know if I saw it on their website or on one of the patterns that's what they suggest. They suggest getting your ruler, practicing on that table runner before you jump into the quilt. I'm convinced that you're not going to have any trouble. It ended up, even when I did the little girl yesterday, the trimming was, and they utilize all of those marks on the ruler. Some of them have dots on them and they'll say line, okay, for instance, on her, when I was doing her pigtails, because that pigtail is 3 separate pieces of fabric. So you've got this corner, and then you've got her hair, and then you've got this bottom one. When you trimmed the block, it said put the blue dot on the point here, and the other dot went on the point down here, and then you just trimmed it. I mean, it was super easy and really fun. I know I keep showing her because I'm a little obsessed with her. So yeah, what they're doing now is they're setting up.
We're trying to show you all the patterns.
All the patterns that we currently have.
Those are the same.
Oh, that's okay. Here's Posh Holly. I'm going to put her next to Posh Santa. So then just do a quick scanning of them and take notes of the color medallion on. This is another one that I really was sad, the flower. Yeah, that was one that the flower pop was one that I also very much wanted to get done, and I just didn't. But to justify my purchase of those rulers, I'm going to have to, or at least talk about making 5 or 6 patterns from each ruler. The Mod Citrus we both loved as soon as we saw it. If you look at it, it is actually flowers, because the kind of like an orange peel shape, and then you've got your greens down at the bottom, so that when you lay it out, it actually looks like a garden with the leaves on the bottom.
Both stores have these patterns at their little club table. So Williamsville's is, I think, in the center of the store. East Aurora is at the edge of the counter. So the patterns will all be up there. The rulers will be all up there. All the other little notions that Sheila talked about will be at the club table at both stores.
Diamond Days is another pattern that I own. This just seemed novel and different from anything that I've done. So this is also in my to-do pile. They're just fun. You know, they're fun. They go together quickly. The blocks are good size. It's not a pesty little project. The shamrocks that I did, you know, I worked on it. It wasn't all in one day. You know, I would do a couple of blocks and set aside and go back to it. It was fun collecting all of my white or red, white from a distance fabrics. It's just,
Any other questions? I mean, I think
any other questions? Hopefully I've not made it confusing for you. Hopefully they're fun. They're a lot of fun. Let's put her out. So, because she's bright, she's very bright and cheerful. I don't work with solids a lot, but it was fun to do. Just bright. I mean, everybody needs a new little tabletop or
The
so.
little border.
Yeah, with the
didn't even see
butterflies.
that.
Well, I know. Hey, when you find something that works, man.
can we do a close-up of Posh Kitty? Yeah.
Posh Kitty. Oh,
Where is your Posh Kitty?
where did I put my Posh Kitty? Lot of negative space in there. So I'm assuming not a lot of cutting. Posh Kitty, just her face and maybe her tail and those little, yeah, she can be fun to do. I just got to figure out what color Posh is going to be.
If I'm not, someone's asking for the website. I would just Google So Kind of Wonderful. I think that's it. I don't want to say it is. That's not who I get them from.
Right.
So
She is
I
a
don't want to
distributor,
say
yeah.
that's the website, but I would Google it and I'm pretty sure you're going to find the
Yeah, it
website
is.
pop up.
And there is a drop-down menu on the website for patterns. But yeah, Alyssa gets from a distributor. So and they're quicker. So that's who you're going to just go onto the website, figure out what pattern you like, and then
Give us a call and we can
yeah,
order it
let her
for you.
know.
And you get the discount.
And you get the
And you
discount.
get the discount, absolutely. So that is what I have for you
Anything else?
today. Any other questions?
I just want to remind everybody, please, if you're interested in the club banquet, please get your form in. I don't want anybody to be calling us June 1st. We don't have control over that. That is the new rule due to the way the world is right now, that the cutoff date is June 1st. So please get your registration forms in. We really want to see everybody that can attend because it's a great wedding without dancing.
Yeah, and if you're relatively new to club and you've not been here in person, I remember my very first club banquet many years ago. I brought my daughter because I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't know anyone, and I really wanted to go. And I took her, and she loved it because the food was great, and there were a lot of fun things to look at. So if you're that person that doesn't, we've been virtual for such a long time that you've not been here in person and haven't made your friends within the organization yet.
It's okay.
I mean, either come and make friends. We're a pretty welcoming group, and I think everyone here will say the same thing. We love new people to bring into our
Community.
into our community.
Or in our family,
community.
because that's what
So
it is here.
if you come by yourself and you're nervous, don't be. And if you come and you're still nervous, bring a friend. I mean, and we will bring both of you into our family, into our fold of our wonderful community of sewers and embroiderers
Just
and
all the chicken you want, because
Oh
it's
my
family
gosh,
style. So
and
if
they
they go,
keep
you want
bringing
more?
it.
You just say yes.
so it's some kind of delicious potatoes, and there's a salad and
Joyce, you know what? Someone asked, is there a solo? Just send in your paperwork
yeah.
and then she'll just stick you at a table. So
Yeah.
you just fill out your own paperwork instead of filling up a table. And then she'll put you at a table.
Yeah.
And you'll
Yeah.
make new friends.
And you'll make a lot of new friends. And just let us know that you're here and you're solo, and then we will introduce you to all of your new friends.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, great food. Remember there being a little sundae at the end, maybe.
There's normally ice cream, the salad.
Salad. And
I like
roll.
drooling.
No,
For a month away,
And the chicken they cook outside, just so you know, it's like grilled chicken, but marinated and grilled and sorry.
It's so. I'm
What's the
sorry.
vegetable?
It's
Oh, I think it's a
mixed
mixed
veg
medley.
medley.
It's a veggie medley. Sorry, not that we obsess over food.
No, no. And
Does-
there's giveaways and, you know, I'm
Usually a
excited
50-50.
raffles and I'm really excited that a lot of our vendors can attend because in the past it's been really hard to get everybody to attend with us. You know, everybody's got other things going on. So with it being the world opening up ish again and having our vendors be able to attend is really exciting for us as a business. For you guys to get to meet who we deal with. I think that's really important. So I don't know if Kevin's coming. I have to ask him. But that is
He's
one I
just
don't.
so nice.
Yes.
So nice.
Okay. So yeah, so
He's nice.
he's nice. He's a very nice guy. They all are. But no, I think that's really important for you guys to meet who we deal with as a business because they're a business, we're a business, and we have to work together. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm glad they can finally attend.
I think sometimes they give away sewing machines.
Sometimes they do give away sewing machines. Sometimes they give away fabric. Sometimes they give away a lot of things.
And I think, is it still, and I'm maybe speaking out of turn, but when you submit a project to the show and share,
We will then have a raffle at the counter because, so if you submit an item, a sew and share, kind of like we do today, we don't have we could bring the whirligig.
You can see it in person.
You can see it in
Yeah.
person because it's really fun. We'll put your name in there when you submit a sew and share project, and then we draw names throughout the night. We have so many prizes, but you get to get your name drawn by submitting a project. So please don't forget, projects don't submit until May 16th. I don't want to lose your precious project, and we don't want to lose the email either. But that is definitely on your radar. And the other thing I want to mention is we do have next week, Angie Stevens coming to Embroidery Club. So she is physically coming here in the morning of next week, Thursday. It is next week, Thursday. It is in person. You just come on in and check in like we used to in the olden days. And then in the afternoon is the virtual. So then after we're done up there, we come down here, we set up in our virtual room, and then we will then do your sew and share, or not your sew and share. Sorry, I'm reading the comment. And then we'll do embroidery club in the afternoon. And then don't forget, she is staying Friday and Saturday. So each day is a one-day hands-on event with her. So you bring your machine, you pick your pattern, and then she will, and make sure, I'm going to say this loud right now, whatever pattern you pick, make sure you have all your items, all your fabric, all the things that you need. And then the next day she will make a block or two with you to help you with your project that you're making. So we will have the samples and the patterns hung up in the next day or so in East Aurora classroom. We had to remove everything from OESD and put up again Angie Stevens lunchbox quilts. So they're not up yet, but we do have the patterns in, and then the samples will be hung up in the classroom. So please, I would love for everybody to come in who can and sign up. We do have a few more openings on Friday, and we have quite a few open on Saturday. It's $89.99. You come, bring your machine, hang out for the day. And so a block or two with Angie, who she is a blast.
She's wonderful.
She's wonderful. She
We
really
haven't seen
is.
her in years.
I know. We've tried bringing her in a few times. So
From Arizona.
Yep. And so she will be here for the weekend to hang out with us. So please come in, take a look at the samples, please sign up. So it's worth her staying and hanging out with us. Again, projects in the classroom, patterns will be up shortly. We're trying to get up there to hang them, and we will see you next week, either in person and virtually, Thursday, with Angie Stevens Lunchbox Quilts for Embroidery Club. Everyone have a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to my
Thanks for
babble.
coming
Happy
to
Mother's Day,
us.
everybody, and have a great weekend. See you next week.
See ya.